What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. You guys already know what this is. This is Power Season 4, Episode 4. We're in this together. Really good episode. Um, I'm not going to hold you guys long tonight. Tonight is going to be an action packed night for TV and cable, because Game of Thrones, Shaws of Sunset, the second and last episode of the reunion of Real Housewives of Potomac, and of course Power. So YouTube is going to be popping. Let's do it, you guys. Remember to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. Join the notification squad. Subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and comment down below. How did you guys feel about this episode? It was good, right? Right? Okay, so let's talk about it. Um, let's first talk about Ghost slash James. You guys know that James St. Patrick moves in between being Ghost and being James. It just depends on what he needs to do. While he's in jail, he is James. When he talks to Proctor, he goes into Ghost mode and he begins giving out instructions. We see him working out and, of course, getting verbally and physically abused by Charlie Murphy, RIP. And he gets a little information from this encounter about an inmate that was killed in a very similar fashion a year ago in that same room. Then we see him talking to Proctor and to Silver about his case, about who the feds questioned on last week, which we know Julio, Keisha, and Dre. They asked more specifically about Dre and Julio as well as Bailey. Now, of course, James has never met Bailey. It's the truth. He doesn't know who he is. And of course, Julio and Dre are his prodigies. He brought them out of the life of crime and showed them how to be productive citizens. This is what I do as a viable member of the community. Of course, Silver is not having it. Every chance he gets to get up under Ghost skin, he does. Now, he is going to fight for Ghost as a client, but as a black man, they are perpetually and continually dig measuring, and he is a little bit of a hater. So every chance he gets to let Ghost have it, that's what he does. He is questioning him about the gun. Is there any DNA? Is there any prints? Is there anything that you are not telling me? Because he knows that Proctor and James have a very, very close relationship, and he doesn't really trust that they are going to keep his record untarnished as a stellar defense attorney. Anyway, he goes on about his business, and then gets a chance to talk to Proctor, and he wants Proctor to reassure him that he can trust this whole Silver guy, second chair, because he really does seem a little bit like a hater, and I'm this close to snapping his neck. But Proctor reassures him. He also wants to talk to Proctor about this dude that was killed in the rec room, and as it pertains to Charlie Murphy, RIP. All right, and did you talk to Tommy about taking that money? I'm going to talk to him about that, but also make sure he finds out how Tony Terese fits in with Roberto Stelletti, the Roberto Stelletti murder, and get back to me. As you guys know, Proctor does the bidding, goes on about his way. All right. Later on, okay, let's do Julio and Dre together. They're sort of interchangeable. Julio is catching it from Cristobal because of Domingo, what Tommy did to Domingo. Cristobal is the next to the last to give his money over for the giant drug deal that Tommy did on last week. And of course, Dre has not shown up with the money yet. All right, Cristobal expresses some of his concerns about what happened with Domingo as it pertains to Tommy and what Julio is doing about it. And Julio is not stepping up to the plate. And, it's a lot of people questioning Julio and expecting him to to be something that he's obviously having a little bit of trouble being. He's a little bit more laid back. Like I said, him and Ghost was kind of simpatico on what was going on. And he's kind of struggling under Tommy. When he talks to Tommy about some of the things that Cristobal said to him and trying to, sort of just check Tommy about why did you do that to Domingo? It's going to make it harder, the relationship I have between me and Cristobal. And he was like, look, that's your problem. Just Tommy, that's your problem. And if it's a problem for you, and you make it a problem for me, that means you my problem. All right. And Julio knows, step back a little bit. He also says, why were you with the Fed so long? Y'all remember that Dre kind of dry snitched on Julio last week. Well, he lied, really. He don't know how long he was in there, but he alluded to the fact that Julio was in with the Feds a lot longer than he should have been. And Julio was like, what are you talking about? Who told you that, Dre? No, of course not. Later on, Julio go to see Dre. And he asked him why he ain't drop his money off. Now, we already know that's a power move on Dre's part. Instead of me doing what I'm supposed to be doing, like you asked me to do and bringing the money, I'm forcing you to come get it. No problem. If something happened here at the club, I'll be down there next week. I got you. So he kind of tries to schmooze it over with Julio. But Julio want to know, did you tell Tommy? And Dre flat out lies. Why would I tell him that? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know how long you were in with the Feds. Why would I say that? And Julio is just like, okay, you know what? My bad. We don't have no beef. Dre says we don't have no beef. They kind of give a dap and go on about their business. Now, do I believe it from Julio? No. And we already know we can't believe it from Dre. Later on, Dre gets a visit from Cristobal, and Cristobal wants to talk about Julio. Some of the things that's going on with Julio, going on with Tommy, and what's happening right now. And Dre takes this opportunity to drag Julio again. But also, he forgets that Julio got the Asian girl there working, and she is listening to him drag Julio's name to Cristobal. So trust, it's going to come up again, you guys. We already know that. Now, also, we see the club get shut down. It's being seized by the government. Okay, so Dre makes that call and lets them know, hey, club has been seized. And we can't open it right now. Later on, when he goes to visit Kanan, Dre does, and he takes him the money. He tells Kanan, this is the last of the money. I don't know when I'm going to have some more money for you because they shut the club down. Well, of course, he's putting the pressure on Julio. Kanan's putting the pressure on Dre. He tells him, and that ain't my problem. That is not my problem. You best to have my money. Okay? You best to have my money. Get it how you can. At the same time that he's standing there, they having a little party. He see Tariq coming. He want to know why Tariq there. And Kanan tell him, mind your own business. Don't you need to be going on home to see about your daughter? Okay, that's a veiled threat. That's a thinly veiled threat. Like, remember, I promised to snap your daughter and your girlfriend Nick if you don't do what I asked you to do, and if you turn me up to Tariq and his daddy, his family. So on Dre, on his way out the door, he tried to talk to Tariq into coming with him, and Tariq is like, I'm having a good time. These my friends. They love me. They care about me. And I'm staying here, essentially. And what can Dre do? What can he do? He going on by his business. Now, it would be best if Julio and Dre were to work together. For whatever reason, they have decided, Dre especially have decided that that's not the smart thing to do. And it's going to come back to bite them both in the behind. I think Julio's probably going to end up taking Dre out, and Tommy's probably going to end up taking Julio out. It's just going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. There's no way around this, you guys. This is taking the season in such a roller coaster trajectory. Like, we are speeding very, very closely, even though it's just the 4th episode, toward this really, really horrific place that we're going to lose some of the people that we really, really love. Dre being one of them, if he don't tell the truth. Anyway, let's talk about Tariq and Raina. Let's knock them out real quick. Tariq is sex, drugs, and rock and hoes. Not rock and roll, rock and hoes. Okay, because he is smoking pot, he is drinking, he is helping Kanan and his crew steal from his school friends and their rich family members. He is present in the home with the teen, keeping them busy, occupied, and drunk on lean while they rob the people's house. And it's bad. He's getting a little bit of cut from it. It's a small amount compared to what they getting off top, but he's got money laying around. He's got expensive gifts and things that he's bought himself laying around. And Raina want to know a little bit more about what he's doing and what he got going on. And he's threatening her. Shut up and you better not tell mama. Mind your own business. Get the fuck out of here. He's shooting her birds and just being disrespectful. And she is like Tasha is so frazzled. She is so frazzled right now. She just doesn't know which way is up. She don't know her brother. She don't know what's going on with her daddy. Her mama's kind of losing it a little bit too. All right. In the end, we see Tariq talking to this chick that he has been eyeballing that Kanan has set him up with. He don't know the girl from Adam's house cat. Hopefully he'll use the condom. I don't know. The girl is around the way, chick, and she's way more advanced. I was hoping she would call Kanan's name, but she never does. When he says Slim, she just kind of repeats it like Slim, like, oh yeah. No, Slim didn't set this up. So Tariq is still in the dark. He is a lamb being led to slaughter, and he is too young and too stupid to realize it. So at this point, I'm like, whatever happens to Tariq happens to Tariq at this point. All right. So let's talk about Tasha. Tasha is fixing breakfast for the kids. Tommy is sleeping there on the sofa. He's getting texts from Keisha because he was with her the night before and he left a little bit early. She wants to know where he is. Like, seriously, Keisha, this is not your man. This is a dude that you just doing. Okay? And Tasha wants to know who's on the phone, like she his wife, and he's like work. And later on, Tasha leaves there and she goes and she talks to Angela because Angela has called her down to have a conversation about Ghost, about turning on James and testifying against James. Of course, Tasha is not hearing any of that. And she is afraid. So she is not being the same strong, go hard Tasha that we know. But she does manage to tell Angela that she's a liar and that Ghost is a liar, but she's a liar too. And she does eat the fact that Angela drops the bombshell that Ghost was offered a plea that was going to help her and the kids, and he refused it. She doesn't know what to make of that, but she tries to play it off and acts like she knew it all along and goes on about her way. Giving Angela one of these, right? Good for you, but not really. Later on, we see Tasha in school, taking the kids to school, and she sees the principal, and here's a perfect person to take all my frustration out on, except it's one thing she don't know that the principal know, and that is that Tasha has insufficient funds. Unbeknownst to her, all of their funds have been seized. The club, the Keisha's shop, everything. But she don't know this yet. And she don't know that the bank has frozen all of their assets until the principal tells her she's got a week to pay their tuition or they're going to be suspended. So she takes the broken pieces of her face and her kids and goes on about her business. All the while, Tariq looking at them like, y'all ain't shit. My family ain't shit. Y'all ain't got no money. Y'all ain't shit. It's even more reason for him to believe the things that a Kanan is telling him. All right. So, Tasha, decides she's going to go after talking to Keisha about meeting with Angela. She going to go down and talk to Ghost. So that's what she does. She goes down and gets on the visitor phone with Ghost, and she tells him that she knows about the plea deal. And he is like, no, it's not what you think. And she's like, yeah, she offered me a deal too. And he's like, what are you talking about, Tasha? What are you talking about? You didn't take it, did you? And she's just like, no, I wouldn't take it. It was a bluff that she took back in a way that really, to me, said that I would never turn on you. All right, which he's okay, he's cool with, but she do tell him going forward, they offer you anything, you need to discuss it with me, and that's only right, right? Proctor is doing what he can. He is doing very, very well. I mean, he's a good attorney to have. He's able to run errands. He's able to talk to the family. He talks with Tommy, gives Tommy all the instructions that Ghost has told him. He's helping Silver with get this whole gun thrown out. He's working very, very hard. He goes to court. He does an excellent job questioning Donovan and getting that gun thrown out. Okay, because made Donovan look like a straight angry fool. All right. Very, very good. Well, Mock and his office aren't happy with this. This is how the whole seizing of assets came about. Also gets a chance to talk to Bailey. When he talks to Bailey and tries to figure out what's going on, Bailey says, I got some things you need to see, but I'll come see you. You don't come see me, I'll come to your place. That's a mistake we're going to see later on. When Proctor tells Tommy that that he's meeting with Bailey and he thinks Bailey has some evidence. Of course, Tommy wants to come. Proctor don't want that, but you let the cat out the bag. Now you got to bring Crazy to the party. All right. He also gets the information from Tommy when Tommy goes and does his part with the Tony Teresi situation and gets that over to James. He's a really, really good attorney. So it's a little upsetting when during the whole seizure thing, going through the records, they find out that Proctor also represented Egan, and he is forced to be to be thrown off of Ghost's case. So now Ghost only has second chair Silver to represent him, and Proctor can't be nowhere near it. Ghost is devastated. Proctor is devastated. This is not going to be good. But mind you, we've gotten the DNA thrown out as well as the gun. So fingers crossed. All right. We're going to talk about Bailey and Proctor and Tommy in a minute. Let's talk about the fact that Tommy, trying to handle things with Tasha. He's trying to handle things with Julio. He's giving Julio threats. If you got a problem that you can't handle, that makes you my problem, and you don't want to be my problem. All right. He's trying to keep Keisha calm. The chemistry between Keisha and Tommy, to me, isn't good. They end up having sex on this episode, and it just was awkward to me. Lala and Sakura, they don't really have no chemistry, in my opinion. I don't never have to see another sex scene from them. It's not good. It wasn't great. It was weird. I didn't like it. And y'all know Power got some good sex scenes, but it's not happening with Tommy and Lala. He tries to reassure her at the same time. She is constantly throwing salt in the whole Tasha game when it comes to Tommy. And Tommy is already on 10 with being suspicious of everybody. Cristobal, Domingo, Julio, Dre, Tariq, James, Proctor, Keisha, if she ain't careful. He's suspicious of everybody. And we already know that's not a good place for Tommy to be. When he takes that money over to Tommy Teresi's house, he gets to meet Tommy Teresi's friend as well as his wife. And he gets a rise out of Teresi's friend about Roberto Stelletti. He gets a little confirmation about that too. Takes all that information back to Ghost. All right. And we see him meeting up with Proctor, Bailey. Unbeknownst to Bailey, he is there at the house with Proctor and Bailey. So we see Proctor and Bailey. They are talking about the audio and what these scenarios, and Proctor finally gets to hear the audio. When he hears the audio, he is just like, listen, as well as work on your behalf getting federal agent Knox name cleared. We can work together. He said, that's fine. I don't mind working with you. This Bailey, he said, but you got to hear the rest of the tape. When he hear the rest of the tape, he hears Tommy kill the dude on the tape. And Proctor is floored. And he says, uh, you showed anyone else in the prosecutor's office this tape? And he said, no, I talked to somebody about it, but they didn't hear it. So nobody's heard it but you. And as he continues to talk, Tommy walks up out of the shadows behind Bailey and stabs him and kills him. Right there in Proctor's apartment, he falls dead on the floor. And then Tommy threatens Proctor. Before you try to set me up and think about turning me in to say ghost, you just realized that me and you did this thing together. He cleans that gun on Proctor's shirt. I mean, just 360 degrees of crazy. He always brings the elephant gun to a fly fight. He always goes off half cocked. Only after he kills this man and threatens Proctor does he learn that the only reason Ghost was in Knox's apartment was to get the darn tape, the same audio he just heard, to protect Tommy. And Tommy's like, oh shit. Then he wants to take the laptop and crush it. And he's like, no, we don't even know if he saved it somewhere, if he sent it to somewhere else. We don't even know how much information he has. I need to look at this laptop, please, so that we can try to fix this whole mess. And Tommy's like, okay, cool. But I got my good eye on you. And Proctor is terrified because he already knows that Tommy is a ticking time bomb. He's Katie Kaboom. You know what I mean? Like, he goes 0 to 60 real quick. All right. Later on, of course, we see Proctor get removed as James' attorney. He is drunk as Cooter Brown. He goes to see Angela. Drunk as Cooter Brown. And tells Angela that she knows that all of this is her fault, and she says, no, whatever happened between you and your license, because Mock is gonna try to go to the board, to the law board on him. That's all your fault. And he tells her, you know what's so funny is that everybody begged him to leave you alone, that you was gonna get him in trouble, and he kept saying all he wanted to do was protect you. All of this is because he was protecting you and looking out for you. And we told him not to, and he still did it, and look what it got him. And her face is cracked and molded too, right? But she want him to leave, and he says the gun isn't, you know that that's not his gun. You know that he wouldn't do that. Check into it. Look into that gun. You know that that's not his gun. She sends him on off, but later on, she's got that little bee in her bonnet now about this gun, and she goes to check out the gun. All right, so Angela meets with Tasha, and she tries to low-key threaten her. You know, she tries to seem like she's on her side, and we're in this thing together, and we can protect each other, and we can stop all his lies and stop the hurt that he's putting on all of us. And she is very unsuccessful. Her office is letting her have it because she is the office slut, and they don't have any respect for her whatsoever. And she's getting in trouble with Mock, because that's why she had to go talk to Angela, because she's gone behind his back to make this secret deal that he was never going to stand by with James. All right. Also, they've lost the case. They lost the gun case. I mean, you know, the gun evidence. They've lost the DNA evidence, and her whole office is kind of blaming her about the whole situation. She goes back and reports that she wasn't able to get Angela sway, and Mock is not happy. He is not happy at all about the situation. So when Proctor comes to her in a drunken stupor and tells her, you know, reminds her about this gun, that's when she goes and pulls the tape from James's office. Now she sees two things. She sees, one, that Sandoval was the last person to look at that tape, and when he looked at that tape, and two, she sees that Ghost could not have in any way planted that gun. And she is devastated. She is devastated because she realizes now at this point, as Mike B says, that she is going to have to find a way to help James and continue to look stupid as flip. You look so dumb. You look so dumb, Angela. I mean, I'll tell you, I can't stand her. I cannot stand her. So let's talk real quickly about our auxiliary characters. We see it's a lot going on in this episode. Keisha's in a panic, and her shop is being closed, been seized. She's screwing Tommy like he her boyfriend, but she got an eye on Tasha, and she dragging Tasha's name because she wants to discredit Tasha in Tommy's eyes because she's trying to keep Tommy as her man. She don't realize how close she is to getting killed by Tommy. All right, but she best to ask Holly. All right, then Teresa set up this whole grand scheme, and I hope the $20,000 was worth it because Tommy found out about Stiletti and the fact that he and his friend killed Stiletti, and when Ghost finds that out, he tells Teresa, you ain't blackmailing me no more. Else I'm gonna tell the Stiletti family what you did to their family member, and you know they're gonna kill you and your wife. Well, Teresa's pride and joy is his wife. He doesn't want her to be killed, and he decides to back up off of James and this whole blackmail scheme for now. All right, but won't be long. Bailey, R.I.P. to Bailey. What were you thinking, Bailey? Why would you go to a private place? You know you got this damaging information, and you go in the dark to a private place, to an address you've never been before, and you are none the wiser about possibly maybe being in a little bit of danger. And so we see our very first auxiliary character member get killed. R.I.P. Bailey. It was a very dramatic death. Silver is now first chair, you guys. He is now first chair. I am not sure how we're going to be able to make this work, but I'm looking forward to seeing how we're going to handle this on next week as it pertains to Silver's relationship with James. Kanan. Kanan is so proud of the little monster that he is turning Tariq into. And he is getting him deeper and deeper and deeper and making him more and more culpable, even as a minor, to his crimes. And he couldn't be happier about it. That threat against Dre, I hope, is the fire that Dre needs to finally tell someone about this situation with Kanan. We'll see. All right, Sandoval. Sandoval is getting more and more bold and brazen. He has settled into this. He is fully committed into doing whatever it is he has to do to completely keep his name out of this situation. And it is making him foolish. It is making him careless. And Angela will be on to him by mid-episode next week. I promise you. This is going to be a mess. What is on that laptop is going to be a mess. And what is happening with Dre and Kanan is going to be a mess. This is going to be one bloody season of power. Okay? All right, you guys, that is it for us. Let me know what you thought about this episode down below. Power was really, really good. We love seeing Tommy being bad. He is so good at being bad. And this really was his episode. This really was his episode this week, you guys. He and Proctor. So let me know what you think down below. Remember to subscribe. Remember to give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to comment, you guys. I'll be waiting for you down below. Until next time, honeybees. Mwah.